was having a conversation with a guy yesterday, and we were talking about sort of intentional time. We were laughing, and it was at the expense of my wife, so don't tell her. But we were talking about multitasking, right? We were talking about this idea of multitasking, and about how it just doesn't exist. And I know that most every woman I've ever spoken to has said, this is my superpower. You guys don't understand because you don't have that capability. And so we were having this conversation, and he was referring back to a golf course that he used to belong to that didn't allow phones. And not that he did not that you had to have your phone off, or they couldn't be on property. Like, you had to leave it in the car. It could not come into the building. It couldn't go onto the golf course. It was immediate ejection from the club, from membership. Like, they just straight up, you couldn't have it. And he was talking about how incredible it was from an experience perspective to be completely and totally disconnected from that thing. And it really kind of got me thinking about us, and about how do we ever get disconnected? You know, when we talk about the fact that we've got to make deposits into the account so that we can make withdrawals. We talk about how you can't pour from an empty cup, that you really do need to pour from a full cup. But how do we do that? And I was thinking about the kids, and I was thinking about, you know, how many kids are, we tell our kids, for example, you know, don't text and drive, right? But then we're on our phones trying to read a text as we're driving. I see it happen all the time. I almost got hit 2 days ago on my own street from a guy he had his phone on top of his steering wheel, as somehow that was going to make it better for him to be able to read his phone while driving. We are just always so connected. And from a high performance habit perspective, from a GSD perspective, from a intentionality perspective, from a being connected and present perspective, being able to focus on one thing and focus on only that one thing, giving it your 100% attention, becomes life-changing. And for those of us that have small kids, that quite literally is simply putting a phone in a drawer and getting down on our hands and knees and playing with our little one. That quite literally is turning the phone to airplane mode when we get in the car, and taking that opportunity to connect with your teenager that, let's face it, they're really hard to connect with, right? That could be literally leaving your phone in the car for date night and spending intentional time staring into the eyes of the person you're with for, hey, I don't know, an hour or two. What do you think? Okay. So I would just challenge you this weekend, find a 2 or 3 hour period of time that you are going to pour into one thing. Don't tell my wife, but multitasking isn't a thing. Find one thing, pour 100% into it, and just see the difference it makes.